Someone once said, "I've never had bullets fly by my head, but I've experienced freedom because of men who did. Forever thankful to every veteran's sacrifice." This is Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Finally, a podcast 100% about veterans. Looking at veterans making a difference in the veterans community. We'll help veterans, and we'll spotlight veteran-owned businesses and businesses that support and hire veterans. Plus, guzzle down some amazing coffee. Welcome to Vets and Coffee, the podcast. Now your host, Tree McLean.
Well, I guess I could say good morning, but it's actually good evening since we're recording it Monday night instead of Tuesday morning. So let me get rid of this graphic real quick. Hey, I got on, excuse me, Rod Lopez, U.S. Marine Veteran. How you doing today, Rod? How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good, man. How are you, Chris?
Oh, I'm doing all right. Doing all right. So did you have a good weekend with the Veterans Day weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. We had the Marine Corps birthday on the 10th. That was good. And then we also had the Marine Corps Ball here in the Woodlands. It was brought to you by the Marine Corps Coordinating Council. So that was a pretty good ball. Everybody enjoyed that. You know, a lot of history in that. So that was good to go.
Yeah, I saw some of your pictures there. You look pretty snazzy.
I appreciate that.
Looks like a good time. A little too fancy for me, you know. But yeah, we went out and did 4 events on Friday. I was not expecting to do that because I've been sick all week, but it's just one thing after another. And then we ended up on the Houston Live TV. That was really interesting.
Yeah, I saw that one. That was pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that came up the day before. They contacted me the day before, and I'm like, because I was planning on going to Fiji's barbecue and spending the afternoon there munching down on barbecue. And so we end up going to Fiji's, but we still went to Houston Life as well. That was really cool. Yeah. So, and of course, I forgot to change my clock in my truck. So I had to be at an event at 4:00. And I'm thinking it's almost 4:00. I head home, drop off a load of food and everything. And I turn around, head out west I-10. And I get there and I walk into this bar and I said, "Where's everybody at?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "I'm here for the veterans event." She goes, "It doesn't start till 4." And I'm like, "It is 4." She goes, "No, it's 3:00. I went, "Oh, crap."
It'll get you every time, every year.
I know. It's okay. I took Bailey over to Marble Slab Creamery and got a pup cup for her.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Yeah, she appreciated that. Yeah, she was really good that day. So let's talk about what you do in the Marine Corps.
The Marine Corps, I got in 1998. I got out in 2003. I went in as a motor T operator, and because I was in an age where I was going to turn 18 years old. When I went to Japan, I got stationed in Iwakuni, Japan, as an Air Wing Division, and I didn't last very long there because it just wasn't. It just wasn't what I went to the Marine Corps for. Right? It wasn't what I expected. So I ended up kind of unofficially getting requested to go to reconnaissance tryouts in Brisbane, Australia. So I went into a training facility in Brisbane, and then I got orders to go to Camp Pendleton. I was with the 5th Marine Division in Camp Pendleton, Camp San Mateo. I was with 1525, and then got attached to 1st LAR for a little bit. So then I just got to the grunt side of stuff and the infantry stuff, and that was that's pretty much where I stayed for the rest of my career. I got to see Korea, went to Kadena and Camp Foster and Okinawa. Also went back to Australia again. Where else did we go? We went a few other places around the Middle East. Went to Kuwait, and then so then I got out in 2003.
Cool. Well, you got to do some traveling with them at least, you know. A lot of people join the service wanting to travel and they don't get to travel much, but you actually got to do some traveling.
Yeah, I did. It was it's not the kind of travel it's not comforting.
So Would you say Australia sucked?
Oh no. I've been to Australia as a civilian too after the fact, right? I just went maybe like right before COVID, and man, Australia is great, right? The people are great. It's a pretty amazing country. It's a big country, so it depends where you go in Australia. You'll have a different experience.
Yeah, yeah. My niece's fiance is from Australia.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, so they're going to be. She's already been there once, I believe, already, and she'll be going again. In fact, they're getting married tomorrow on their anniversary of the day they met.
Oh, okay. In Australia?
No, actually, Colorado. They live in Colorado now.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah. So, what you been doing since the Marine Corps?
Well, I got after I got out of the Marine Corps, I went to school. I got a electronics engineering degree using the GI Bill, and then I got hired on to a engineering company and started traveling a little bit. Well, actually, before that, I started doing security work. I got an itch that I just, the military. So I went in security, did some work in Venezuela, Libya, and then Iraq, in the means of Turkey, right? I'd go into like Istanbul, travel down to Diyarbakir, and then from there cross the border into the northern part of Iraq. So I did that for a couple of years, and then I went into school, and then got a job with an engineering company, and then went back to the Middle East, working in the oil and gas, and then went to I want to say about 46 different countries with that career path, right? So being like a field engineer, research and development, and then once I got into my part of my career, it started slowing down. I got the promotions and stuff like that. So, that's, I mean, pretty much how I kind of got where I am now, stayed in Texas. Yeah, and then after that, I started a nonprofit organization, and here I am.
So let's hear about that nonprofit. What's it called now?
Future Operations Base, FOB for short. Obviously, it's a military acronym for Forward Operating Base. Kind of a play on that, right? It's the Future Operations Base is just, hey, transitioning out of the military is a little. It was a struggle for me. Obviously, I just said that I kind of had that itch to go back into the sandbox. So it's the transition is a little difficult. It is for every generation. I mean, the Vietnam guys had a different. They had that shell shock syndrome, and now we call it PTSD. And the resources weren't there. And luckily for my generation and the ones after, all those resources are available because of those guys that came before us, right? And so I was looking for a resource that allowed me to use my hands to build things in a form of therapy. I'm not going to sit around and talk about my feelings. I'd rather build something, listen to some music, and then have something to show after the fact. So I looked for something for about 2 or 3 years, and I didn't find anything. I asked a couple of friends of mine that were high up in the nonprofit world, and they said, "Man, you should make it. Lead from the front." So I did. I created Future Operations Base, and we are a workshop kind of platform for therapy. So you can come over to the shop. It's a hobby shop basis. You can get the tools, the supplies, and the materials. There's our shop right there. So everything there is available for free. The membership is free for the veteran, the first responder, their immediate family members. I think family is very important. I mean, I wouldn't be here without my family. So having them to be a part of it is very important. My kids show up to the shop. Other members and their kids. We have kid things that they can build and they can do. I mean, painting and putting little toys together. So like I said, it's just a form of therapy, right? And you get to build stuff. And we have little classes like this one right here. We built a stool, and after you build it, you get to take it home. And it's a reminder that you have somebody that you can rely on. You have a network of people that you could call if you're in a struggle or if you need something, or hey, let's say your washer or dryer breaks down or something, and you don't have the tools or the space to fix it. Bring it over, and let's get some guys together and some girls, and let's see if we can figure it out. Here's some crosses that we built for precinct 2, I believe. for a 9/11 event. All these crosses were built by veterans and a first responder, and these are the kind of things that we like to do, like to get involved in. And it saved me, and it helps. Yeah, here's a little workbench that we built. We built a couple of these, raffled them off. We've had some up for donations. Everything that we build, it's up for a donation, and then the donations go right back into the workshop. It goes back into the tools and the supplies and the materials, which it gets a little pricey, right? This is a welding class that we did. We built two pull-up bars. One was a stationary and one was a portable pull-up bar for the U.S. Army recruiting station in the Woodlands. And, and that was a pretty cool project, man. We went and we had to modify some stuff, right, because it didn't fit through the door originally, and then we had to kind of adjust fire, as we always do, right? Everything you do, every operation, there's always something, and that's another thing that we're really good at as veterans. We adjust pretty well, and this thing was welded together by our members, and we took it to go get powder coated, and we delivered it to this recruiting station, and it was awesome, man. I had a great time. I thought I was always interested in welding until I actually got to weld, and I was like, man, that is not for me at all. It's hot and I can't see anything. I was like, I got bad vision already. I was like, man, this is not for me.
Well, this looks pretty interesting. What you got here?
So this is a trophy that we're working on for a Marine Shooting Association. It's one of our members. He's involved in this organization for Marine Corps shoot. I can't remember if it's through the Marine Corps or if it's just a nonprofit organization, but we're building them a trophy that's replacing a 30-something-year-old trophy, and we're building it, and they're going to be able to put them every winner for every year is going to be put on this case here. So that's what we're not done. We're almost there. I think we have about another week or so on it. But it's a very special, unique project. It takes a lot of measuring twice and cutting once.
Let's not talk about no. I got more pictures for you, and I can't find them now.
It's all right, man. Don't worry about it.
I'm like, where'd they all go? So I know you did a class at a garage.
Yeah. We recently did one with it's an automotive class, and it was I have a daughter. She's 15, and I always want to make sure I teach her how to be ready for everything, right? So she's about to start driving, and I thought it's very important that not only myself and my daughter, but other veterans, especially female veterans that maybe don't get that opportunity to be exposed to a certain amount of information when it comes to automotive stuff. So we put together a class, and it was sponsored by God's Garage. They're awesome. They provide free cars to single mothers and deployed military spouses that need transportation, and they give them a free car. And so they hosted this for us in their place there in Conroe. And the ladies there, they were all female veterans and their daughters, and they got to learn how to change a tire, know how to change the oil, and then also wiper blades, battery maintenance, and how not to get ripped off at a lot of these shops that will change your oil, right? And they'll just show you a dirty air filter and charge you $50 for an air filter. James and his team down there at God's Garage, they gave these girls a lot of information of how to, there it is right there. They gave them a lot of information on like what to look for, how not to get ripped off, and what to expect. And they went around the whole car, they lifted it up, man, they went underneath it and checked out. They got to understand what, the difference between suspensions and brakes and different elements, key elements of a vehicle. And we have a couple of the ladies that we interviewed them afterwards and asked them what they what they believe they got out of the class, and they were just like, man, to be able to know how to change a tire really boosted the confidence to be able to get on the road and have that confidence of, hey, if something happens, I can take care of myself. And I like that idea. It's really unique, kind of nonprofit, right? If you know anything like it, man, let me know, because I can't seem to find any. But yeah, that's what that class was about. It was a great class.
Yeah, I remember you when you did that. That was a great idea. Yeah. So, just this morning on the way home from the wound care center, there was a man on the side of the road trying to change his tire, and he just stood there shaking his head, looking all confused. So I made a U-turn and came back around, and I helped him out, and he had no idea how to change his tire. And this guy's 40-something years old.
Yeah, we get to that generation where we don't have to do it sometimes, right? We just call an Uber or a tow truck, And even speaking of tow trucks, the guys at God's Garage, they had said that there's in the state of Texas, and it may exist in other states, but specifically the state of Texas, that if you were in fear of your life and you broke down on the side of the road and you're scared you're going to get hit by somebody, like you're on a dark side of the overpass or something, you can call 911 and they will come and get you off the road for free if your life is in danger, and get you at least off to somewhere safe. So that I didn't know that, right? There's some things that I learned also while I was there.
Yeah, if you're broken down in the state of Texas, you can flip over the back of your driver's license, and there's a phone number, the DPS, Department of Public Safety, you can call as well.
Right.
So if you're in the middle of nowhere, they'll take care of you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
No, it's a lot of good information from those guys. We want to have another one here. I know they just rebuilt their shop, so we're waiting on maybe another class we're going to do with them as well, and just kind of keep doing these very informative classes, especially for our female members. And then maybe we can start doing some that more specific to certain tools like welding and stuff like that as well.
I got a buddy of mine has a custom fab shop. He works on 4-wheel drives and Jeeps and everything. And he's big into hiring veterans. He's got a Ranger working for him now. It works a few days a week for him. It's on 100% disability, and he just goes and works in there for something to do. But he does a lot of custom work. I'll talk to him.
Yeah, man.
Because he does a lot of welding.
Anything to spread the word and get more people involved and get them these resources. I mean, that's pretty much the way.
Yeah, and he's more closer into downtown Houston,
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So it gives you a bit of a difference, and different people might want to get involved with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll talk to him. I'm sure he'll do it.
We have a couple of things that we're going to start doing. We're going to start pulling off some tools, tool chest and stuff like that around our Christmas time, to just try to get people more into the workshop. We have a sponsor, a bucket, also where you can donate, $300, and the bucket, all the tools get bought, basic tools, right? Screwdrivers, even down to a Sharpie, a leveler, things like that, adjustable wrench. And the bucket gets full of these tools, and then it gets donated to a veteran that needs tools, right? There's some veterans that come out, and not only just transitioning out of the military, but transitioning out of like life events, right? I mean, I went through a divorce, and after that, man, it was like, I mean, you're starting over. And sometimes you just need, hey man, I got my first house after, a life event, and I don't have any tools. Well, here, man, like here's something to get you started, right? It's nothing advanced. You're not gonna get, a whole ratchet set or all that in a bucket, but I mean, it's something to get you started at least, and that's another thing that we do as well.
So. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, my buddy Seth, his daughter, I think she's like 10 years old. She has her own rock climbing Jeep, and she even welds.
Oh man, that's cool.
So I mean, she'd be perfect to be in the class with y'all,
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We definitely, whenever it's August over here in the shop, welding, it's a challenge, right? Because it's pretty hot.
This is the time of year to do classes in those types of shops.
Absolutely.
Yep, yep. So what's up next? What's your next class coming up? You have any coming up?
Well, we're gonna do. We got a couple of guys coming into the shop to do some hobby stuff. We're gonna focus on the hobby stuff because they're making things for Christmas, to give away for their kids and like little furniture sets and stuff like that. So we're busy. We're busy with the Christmas projects with our members coming in and out of there. We have the Irreverent Warrior Silky Hike that we're going to be at. That's this Saturday. Believe you can start showing up around like 5 o'clock in the morning if you're highly motivated.
Hey,
Um,
if you would do me a favor and talk about that some, because I tried to get them to come on the podcast and it was like trying to pull teeth. And
okay.
yeah, would you go talk about that a little bit for me?
Yeah, absolutely. The Irreverent Warrior. I mean, I don't know their mission statement by heart, but I will tell you what I believe it stands for, and it's to create the community within the veteran each city in the veteran network, right? So you have all branches of the military, and the Irreverent Warrior is a way to get people out of isolation. They have a thing called a silky hike. So if people don't know what the silkies are, they can call them Ranger panties or silkies. Or Marines are issued these, and so are the Army guys. And most of the armed forces are issued a pair of little bitty shorts, and they're silk shorts, and they're really meant to when you're in combat, when you're in the field, you can take these things, wash them, and hang them up, and they're usually dry within like 10 minutes. So you have a fresh set of skivvies there for you. And it's more of a hygiene thing, right? So, but they're really short, so they're a little risque if you're if you're running around town with them. So, but this silky hike, it kind of it gets people out of isolation. It's a little comical, right? Because you have a bunch of vets running around with these little bitty silky shorts on, and they're representing their branch of service. And it's to get people out of isolation and get you to network with other veterans within your community. So every city will have their own silky hike. Trenton Davis, another Marine, he is in charge of the Houston silky hike. And Mark Metzger used to be in charge of that one and Galveston. So I think Metzger is now just involved in charge of the Galveston one. He's also a Marine as well, great guy. But yeah, these silky hikes are just meant to be able to get these folks out of the isolation, have a good time, meet new people, and get involved in their community. However they see fit, right? It's a good time, man. You get to meet all kind of people, network with them, have a good time on the hike, carry your flags and stuff like that. So represent your, whatever you're proud of and the branch you serve. It's a good time. So if you guys ever want to do that, it's going to be this Saturday. You can look it up on Facebook. I believe they have an Irreverent Warrior Houston Facebook page. If
You
not,
did the one in
contact me. I'll
Galveston,
get
didn't
you.
you? Did you do the one in
Well,
Galveston?
yes, sir. I did. I did the one in Galveston. That was a good one, man. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Myself
remember seeing
and Will
pictures too.
Thomas. Yeah, Will Thomas went with me. If y'all
Yeah,
don't know
that's
who
right.
Will is,
Yeah,
you need to
yeah, I
check
remember
him out.
seeing.
He's a good dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I talked to him the other day, and he saw the pictures of himself and him and Charlie on Houston Life.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I sent him a copy of a link to the video, and I actually sent them the picture of Bailey and Charlie together. Yeah, so he liked that. And then there's another picture of Charlie handing me his leash.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. He likes to do that.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, Charlie's a those two got together that day and had a blast. So, if anyone's interested, there's the website on the bottom of the page right there for Future Operations Base, and that's www.futureoperationsbase.org. If you want to know, for those our listeners and so forth. So, and recently, Friday, if any of my listeners are wondering, Bailey and I were on the Houston Life Show here in Houston with Vietnam veteran, Marine Corps veteran Bill Baessa, and he was there. He's retired now from Channel 2, and they brought him in for Veterans Day, and they had us on, and that was a good time. So,
It's a
and
great
then,
picture, man.
huh?
That's a great picture.
It is, isn't it? Bailey was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you want to see the video on YouTube, there it is right there, slash R6-XDZ3WBNM is a link for YouTube, or you can just go to YouTube and look up Houston Life and look for the Veterans Day show. But that was a lot of fun. We had a good time there. That was a tiring day. But Bailey was awesome as always. There she is right there too. So,
Oh, look at her.
yeah, how you like this picture of her?
That's awesome.
That's my new coffee I got.
Oh yeah, that's the new car. I got to get some of that. I'm drinking your the pecan the pecan one that you gave me last time.
Oh, you're drinking it then.
Mm-hmm.
I just changed the name. Yeah. Going after a different group of people,
Yeah,
So,
yeah, man. Shoot,
yeah.
that's how you grow your business.
That's it. There she was right there after she voted.
That's cool.
Yeah, she had a good time. So let's just go. I just want to make sure I got all your pictures here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So how many people can say they kiss Morgan Luttrell, huh?
I saw that, man. I saw that. I think it was on Facebook. That's pretty cool, man.
It was. It was really funny. In fact, I was supposed to have him on the podcast along with a post commander from VFW Post 2427, and their Wi-Fi absolutely sucks at their post. It's horrible. It bounces around and stops and disconnects. And right as they go to come on, Morgan Luttrell sits down next to me, and the Wi-Fi goes whoop, and shut down. And I'm like,
Power of a Navy SEAL, man.
oh no! It's like, damn it, So I mean, even what's funny is Friday, the Wi-Fi, I couldn't get a good connection at Fiji's barbecue, so I used my cell phone, the hotspot for Verizon. And that morning, I sent my payment in, through my phone for my Verizon bill. And right in the middle of the well, we were done with the podcast, and I was just getting ready to bring up the outro for my podcast, and it shut off. And I'm like, what the heck? I picked up the phone. It shut down because Verizon sent me a text message thanking me for my payment, and it shut down my hotspot. I was livid. I called them up and I told them what they could do with their freaking payment, their thank you text. And I was like, it shut down my podcast. I'm like, what? Well, it's because it's an official text message from Verizon. It shuts down everything.
Oh man.
I know. I was livid. I was like, oh my God, really? Come on. So, yeah.
I think when I was listening to that podcast, that was Veterans Day, right?
Yeah, Veterans Day. Yeah.
Yeah, I was at Victory Pie Company.
Yeah.
In that place, man. If people don't know about that place, you guys got to go check that out. It's in Magnolia. It's called Victory Pie Company, and Sheila Blue's the owner of that place. Her brother, Army guy, he was killed in Afghanistan, and that was something that her and her brother did while he would come home on leave. Is they would bake stuff and kind of just do family stuff together. And baking was their thing between them two. And
I didn't know that.
when he was killed, she opened up Victory Pie Company, and I remember I started FOB kind of around that same time, and I reached out to her, and she just hadn't opened yet. So it was pretty cool. We met, and she's awesome. Great business. They have great food. So yeah, I would definitely support her and her family. They do a lot of good stuff for veterans. They have the SOS, there, and then they have Boots for Troops has a little bin there for donations. So she supports the veteran community and the first responder community a lot.
It's a little bitty place, so you might have to stay in line, but it's worth the wait.
Well, right now it's good to eat out, man. Right outside, she's got that nice patio. It's good weather.
On the AstroTurf.
Yeah, there's that side too. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah. So something I learned about Patrick Friday, the owner of Fiji's Barbecue. He got his he was in a cooking before going to the military, but he went to the Army to become a cook. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. And I said, well, how long you serve? He goes, barely a year and a half. I'm like, what? The poor guy just gets out of training. He's walking across a compound in Iraq, and a shrapnel goes off and hits him and almost kills him.
Oh my God.
I know. It wasn't even in that long, and they
Right.
told him medical retirement, but he didn't lose his leg, but he came close. But yeah, poor guy, but he stuck to cooking. He's a good cook. Good barbecue. Well, you saw the picture.
Yeah, no, it was good. I'm still craving barbecue. I gotta go get some for sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was hoping to hit a couple other places, the free meals on Friday, but I was just too busy and too tired. Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, I couldn't hit enough places up, man. I had enough food that day.
Yeah, we went to a breakfast that morning, and I wish I hadn't. I should have skipped it and just gone right to Pidge's Barbecue and pigged out on that big platter they gave me.
Yeah.
I took it to go. But they have what's called money potatoes. They're chunks of
Money.
potatoes. They're cooked with a seasoning, and they've got like a cheese sauce on top of them. Oh man, it's the thing to get when you go there. And I'm not a fan of turnip greens. I just never been a fan of them. Oh my god, their greens are delicious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not a greens person either, but man, if you say they're good, I have to give that a shot.
and Brussels sprouts, never liked them. Theirs are good. Yeah,
Got that special recipe.
yeah, I know. So I don't know, crazy, but oh well. Oh well.
Well,
You
what
need
else
some
you got
more coffee
going on,
soon,
man?
don't you? You
What was
need some
that?
more FOB coffee soon, don't you?
I do. It's especially now it's getting colder. We have to put some more in the shop. Yeah. I'll
Whenever, let
swing
me
by
know.
and meet up with you and get some.
Yeah, let me know whenever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You what do you got going on this coming up before the holidays?
Well, I'm not gonna do any open air markets because of my health.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've cut those out pretty much completely, and just doing the podcast and on the online sales.
No,
Yeah,
that's all right.
yeah. It's been a rough year for health problems.
Yeah.
Four trips to the hospital, four infections, and yeah. I mean, I just had an infection last weekend before last, and it wipes me out. So
Yeah, that's what happens when you go skinny dipping in the pool, man. You gotta stop that.
everyone runs for their lives. It's free.
As soon as I stopped doing it, I got healthier.
Oh, I wish, man. Well, they gave me a. In fact, I got to go tomorrow for some new custom leggings to be made. But they gave me a new product that covers my leg that's been around forever. Actually, it's like the material that you put underneath a cast,
Okay.
and it promotes circulation and healing, and it's amazing. My legs feel awesome. You know, like Friday night when I was at the Outlaw Dave show, we're at this little shithole bar over in the west side of town called Cowboy Surfer off of Frostwood behind the Memorial City Hospital. And they had a veterans event and they had a live band. It was great music and everything, great little band and great little bar and so forth. And I'd been on my feet all day, but I was standing up and I had to say my feet and my legs felt awesome. They really did. So, and then my legs look better too since I've been using this. Yeah. Thank you for
Well,
turning off your phone.
was that?
Thank you for turning off your phone.
Well, it goes off all the time, man. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I'm just messing with you. Yeah. So you got a busy morning tomorrow?
Just the same old stuff, man. I still have a corporate job, right? So I got to still make that happen.
Yeah.
And then once that, I do what I got to do there, and then from there I switch over to fob stuff and make sure that I just continue the mission, man, and get the word out and be there for the people that need that kind of that kind of outlet. So that's pretty much every day. There's never a day off. You know how that goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You need to get on the show with Raul Marino on Charlie Mike. He's got a great podcast too.
Yeah, man, I'll watch his stuff every once in a while if I'm not busy or if I'm just doing something else. Sometimes I'll be in a Zoom call and I'm just a listening party and I'll listen to his stuff with my headphones on. So no, those guys are good, man. They're pretty entertaining.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Him and the stash. Yeah. So yeah, I got a Zoom meeting tomorrow morning with my doctor. So I couldn't do a podcast tomorrow either. You know.
Yeah. I got my appointment tomorrow as well. So, yeah, man, that's good. I appreciate you, inviting me on. I know it's been a while. You've been trying to get me on, and I'm, either doing something else or busy. It's because I get done with corporate, man. I go into the shop and I'm doing my stuff there, and I just turn my phones off, put my headphones on, and I'm in my element. So that's what gets me going.
Well, my legs have been feeling so good lately that I've actually been looking for a space to reopen the shop, not retail basis, but just a spot to work and work on stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, I want to
yeah.
get back into building the Patriot knife, and I know you'd probably like to get in there and learn how to do that too.
That's really interesting. You bring that up. I'm trying to move the shop closer to 45, so I can kind of be between that corridor of Houston, and Conroe. And I'm looking into some places there, to get a more climate controlled environment in the shop. And in that process, I ran into a contact that it's a veteran in San Antonio, and he has a nonprofit called Reforged, and he does like 2 or 3 knife classes a year because, I mean, he does it just like a corporate job on this side and then runs a nonprofit on the other side.
Hmm.
So he does a few knives a year. He does like classes, right? And that guy, he seems pretty interesting, man. I had a long talk with him, and what he does is kind of around the same lines that you have. I don't think he has as much experience as you have, but he's getting there, and he's definitely got that resource there in San Antonio, right? Specifically there where he's at.
Well,
Um,
my neighbor across the street from me does woodwork, and he was actually going to move up to a shop up to the Huntsville area. And he said no, he doesn't want to drive up there every day and still live in Houston. So he's looking around here. And I told him, I said, you find a space, I'll lease some of it from you.
yeah,
He goes, okay, yeah, we can do that.
yeah.
So,
It gets a little hard, right? Because if you get further you get away from the beaten path, the cheaper stuff gets, but also it's a further drive, daily commute back and forth, man. It gets to be a burden on all aspects.
yeah, yeah.
So you never know, but it's good to. I'm gonna just keep looking and see what I find, and if I do, then I'll just move the shop somewhere closer, so that way it's available a little bit more available to more people between that corridor, that 45 of downtown Houston and Conroe, because there's a lot of people in Conroe, a lot of veterans, and a lot of resources there already. So
Well, I got some of those office warehouse buildings around me that the office is air conditioned.
mhm,
And they got the warehouse in the back where people have automotive shops and all that. And
right,
a friend of mine had one for years. And even in the heat of summer, it wasn't that bad with a shop fan, you know?
yeah,
Yeah, it wasn't really because it was dark inside there and it didn't have natural light coming through there and it was all insulated, It wasn't that bad.
yeah. As
Yeah.
long as it's insulated. If it's not insulated, man, it's like an aluminum can. It just cooks you like a inside of a Humvee. You know what I mean? It's
I know
it's
I seen your
horrible.
shop in the pictures.
Yeah, it gets hot.
Oh yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I want to get back into doing it. I really miss doing knives. I really do. And I'm at number 411 of Patriot knives, and I'd like to hit 500.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That'd be a pretty good. That'd be a pretty good mark to notch on your belt there, man. To hit 500. That's
Yeah, I
amazing.
know.
And you've
Yeah,
given all these away, right?
yeah, yeah.
Wow.
I've awarded them to people too, that go above and beyond. Like other veterans, like you get out of your service and you continue to serve those who serve us, and
Right.
those people like that, like people like you and I,
Yeah, man. That's one thing that's really awesome about this whole veteran community all over the U.S. I mean, here in Houston, I believe is super strong. I may be a little biased, but like we as a veteran community, we support each other pretty hardcore, man. And that's awesome. I really appreciate every time somebody supports me. I try to pass that on to other organizations and help people as well. Even individuals. So that's pretty
You know,
important.
do you know Valerie James?
Yes.
Yeah, she was talking the other night about her. She was homeless twice. Once in D.C., once in Texas, and she goes when she was in D.C., she had just gotten out of the military. And she was homeless, and there was no help, no one in D.C. to help her. But
Yeah.
when she came to Texas, boom, she had help immediately. And
Yeah.
people in Texas will help you out. That's a fact.
Yeah, I met a lady in D.C. as well, man. She started a nonprofit. I think it's called the Battle Betty Foundation.
I've heard
Deandra
that.
Harding. Yeah, she was homeless as well when she got out of the Marine Corps, and she started a nonprofit organization, and that's what she does. She focuses on resources for women specifically, because I didn't know this coming into the nonprofit world, how limited that the female veterans are in services. A male can get all those resources right here in Houston, readily available. There may be a waiting line or whatever. However, a female veteran can't get those same services within one city limit. They have to go in other cities, other states also. And I didn't know that. I mean, it's hard to know that, especially when you're coming into the nonprofit industry. So there's ladies like her and Valerie James they understand that, and they give back to those that need it. So that's pretty important,
Yeah.
man. Like I said, very important.
Yeah, Maggie Peterson's got that organization for women too.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's very important. I
Camp,
mean,
Camp, Camp Shield, right?
yeah, Camp Shield. Um, there's a lot of organizations that help men with PTSD, but I've yet to find any that really. I mean, they'll help women, but there's no housing facility for the women. You know, yeah, it's a shame. But it's the neat thing about podcasts is getting the information out to the veterans.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just this year we lost 3 recruiters to suicide. And about anyone I would think it would have the most information regarding the military would be recruiters,
Yeah.
you know. And some were for financial reasons, and other one was for divorce and so forth. But there was help out there for them. I guess they weren't aware of, or they just weren't able to ask for it. And that's a big problem is people asking for the help.
Well, man, I mean that's the thing, right? I mean, I talked to you before about my uncle. I was adopted into the a family that adopted Roy Benavides, and I mean I remember seeing him as a kid, and him walking into my great grandma's house, and I mean, he only spoke to her, and he only he only saw him smile around her, but once that happened, you go outside and try to talk to him, and he was just a different man, right? He was a different person. He had no idea of the struggle, but you could see it in his face, man. That he had went through a lot, and as a young man, especially I was adopted, so I was lost too. He really, he really, I mean, hid a lot of his pain, a lot of physical and mental struggles, and never asked for help. And that's why I said earlier, right at the beginning, that without those men and women in those days, we wouldn't be standing in the foundation of resources that we have available to us today. It may not be perfect, it may not be all of it or everything we need. However, it's a lot better than what they had.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah. I mean, the resources out there are just unbelievable. How many veteran service organizations we have in Texas? It's absolutely unbelievable. So, but wait, I thank you for coming on, sir.
hey man, I appreciate it, Chris. Man, it was great talking to you again. I got to meet up and get some more coffee from you.
Yeah, I know. We'll get you some. So we thank you once again for coming on. And I always like to do one last thing. Let me bring this up real quick. Where's it at? Where's it at? Where's it at? Here we go. Regarding what we were just talking about, veteran crisis line. If you're feeling the down and out, you need someone to talk to, dial 988, press 1 for veterans, or text 838-255. Or if you need further assistance, you can go to places like combinedarms.us. They can help you out with housing, an attorney, you know.
They got everything all under one umbrella, man. Bunch of
Yeah.
resources. Those guys at Combined Arms have done a great job at getting everything together for the veteran community. Those guys are great people.
Oh, yeah. Yep. And what is wrong with my computer? Oh, there we go. What's wrong now? So, yeah, I like to bring this up as well, and so people don't forget. But one last thing I got to bring up is this right here is never let them be forgotten. And once again, Rod, thank you for coming on. I greatly appreciate you coming on. And
I appreciate it, Chris. Thanks, man.
We'll see you next time on Vets and Coffee. Thank you. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Vets and Coffee, the podcast. As you can see, veterans and coffee are Tree's passions, and we want to make a difference in the veterans community. And with your help and continued listenership, we'll do exactly that. If you enjoyed the show, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. See you next time on Vets and Coffee, the podcast.